Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we're talking 90 Day Love in Paradise, the Caribbean, episode 4. So, not much went down in this episode, so we're just going to get right into it. We're going to start with Danielle and Yohan. So, in this episode, Danielle and Yohan, they go out to, like, in the middle, in this nice like scenery area. And in previous videos with them, I said that Danielle is like really a spiritual person. She does like some of, I don't even know what you call it, just like all that like smoke thing and whatever. But in this episode, if you remember a couple weeks ago, she had went to her spiritual advisor, and the advisor suggested that she plant a banana tree while she's down there. So that's what she basically did. She went in the middle of nowhere and planted a banana tree. She's trying to see if Yohan is like really faithful to her, like some kind of psychic kind of move thing. I didn't understand it, and even Yohan was saying I didn't quite understand what she was saying and doing, but I'm just gonna follow along with it. So they do that. Later in the episode, Danielle and Yohan, they meet up with Yohan's friends. And, she starts questioning their friends. Has Yohan had plenty of girlfriends? I see on Instagram, there's like a lot of girls on his page. Has he been faithful to me? And they're like, most of his followers on Instagram are females, but they're clients. And she was like, I don't really believe that, but okay. But Yohan said that, she has nothing to be jealous about. He's not with them. He has he says he's a personal trainer. He has like a lot of clients that are foreign as well. So maybe Danielle was starting to think he has a thing for foreign women, because the other women were from like Germany, France, and all of that. So he may have a thing for them, but he said that he's not doing nothing with them, and that Danielle shouldn't be jealous. And then the bomb dropped. Now, Danielle is on this trip to get married to him, and they're going to be getting married in 5 days. Well, she had brought up the wedding at the table with the friends, and the friends had no idea that they were getting married. Yohan was like, oh, I wanted to surprise them. And I'm like, wait a minute, you wanted to surprise them? Like, you don't surprise them and say, hey, I'm getting married in 5 days. Like, you don't do that. Like, it's planned out, and that's not something you play around with. Kind of reminds me of the Patrick Thais situation last week. But yeah, they were just shocked, and Danielle was just really surprised. Why didn't you tell your friends? So now she's upset and mad and stuff, and he's just being very nonchalant about it. The friends are just like, yeah, I'm a little surprised that they're getting married and stuff, and the fact that it's coming up so soon, it's just like, why didn't you tell him? I don't think that's something that he should have played around with. But yeah, that's all we've seen out of Danielle and Yohan. Next up, I want to talk about Carlos and Valentine. So in this episode, Carlos, he's from Colombia. He's just now coming out, and Valentine is just free spirit, basically. Now, last week they indulged in a little bit TMI and what they do in their private life. And this episode, they actually go to a gay bar. And, this was their chance to, be free, be themselves in it. Well, they get to the bar, and Valentine was kind of thrown off about it, because apparently the gay bars in Colombia are not like how they are here in the United States, where, it's just a lot of people dancing and just a lot of vulgar things going on, like in the club and stuff. And at this club, everybody was just more reserved, kept to themselves or whatever. So, as I said, Valentine, he's just free spirit. He just starts dancing and going crazy and stuff, just dancing around. He found some girls at the club and started dancing with them. And they actually went with a mutual friend that they had down there. They went up to the bartenders, and all the bartenders were male bartenders, and they all had their shirts off. And he actually got to talk to one of them to come out of the bar and dance with a friend and everything. Then he wanted to dance with Carlos, but Carlos was just like, nah, no, don't do that here. I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not dancing like that. No, don't do that here. So after that, they go outside and talk about it. Carlos is still saying that, in Colombia, even though, we can, like, it's still not culturally accepted like that, and he's still kind of hiding himself in it, and and Valentine was like, well, we're in a environment where you can be yourself and be free, so I don't see what the issue was, but Carlos was just not, he still was not comfortable with all that, all that strutting, all that stuff at the club like that. So I get how Carlos may feel, especially like being on top of that, you're being filmed on TV, and then you're just now coming out, and your dude's a free spirit, and like I said, Valentine, he didn't care. He was just all over the place, and he was just trying to calm Carlos down and try to convince him. But I do think they need to work out that before they talk about this little polyamorous relationship that Valentine wants to do when Carlos don't. So that was them. Next up, we seen Ariana and Charlotte, the returning couple. So last episode, Ariana goes back down to Jamaica with the son, Odin, and Charlotte gets to meet his son for the very first time. And Ariana's just like, it's your turn. You're on dad duty. So in this episode, we only got to see one scene out of them. They're basically just, they go back to Charlotte's house. He actually has air conditioning in his house now, where Ariana can breathe now. First thing they did was change the baby's diaper. Charlotte did it. He did a good job doing that. He said that he's going to do everything he can to be a good father to the baby, and even try to work on his relationship with Ariana. So not much went down in this episode with them. It's just a nice little family moment. But I do think that's all the highlights that we're going to see from them, because I do think, based on the previews, it's all going to go downhill from that. But nonetheless, Ariana and Charlotte, I'm glad Charlotte finally got to meet his son, and that he wants to be a good father, so I applaud him for that. So that, I think that's amazing. Next up we seen was Frankie and Abby. So Frankie and Abby, remember, Frankie and Abby are dating, but Abby is also dating a girl named Gabby. Like, and they've been dating for 10 years and stuff, but Frankie is in love with Abby and he wants to propose. They video chat in this episode, and Frankie's planning his trip to Mexico, and Abby's all excited, and Gabby's even somewhat excited too, and all that. They video chat to say, I'm coming down to Mexico, I'm coming. So then later in the scenes, we've seen them, and Abby was just like, she got a message from Frankie, said that he's not coming no more. And that kind of threw me off. And I'm like, hey, I thought he was like madly in love with this girl. Now he's not coming. And like, he says he don't know how he's going to be able to handle Gabby, telling her the truth or whatever. I guess Gabby doesn't know that Frankie wants to marry Abby and stuff. So I do think we're gonna get more answers in next week's episode. That's just we saw that in the previews. But yeah, as I said before with that, I think that's just like a weird situation. Like you're about to have a fiance, but you still got a girlfriend and stuff. Like, it's just a I mean, whatever floats your boat, but like I said, those don't normally end well. Those relationships don't normally end well. So with Frankie and Abby, I hope they can work it out. But Frankie, he was all packed up, dressed up on the phone call, and like it was like he went on a date on the phone call and stuff, because he was all dressed up, and then he just said that he's not coming. So I really don't know how that's gonna play out. I hope that he does eventually go, and yeah. So yeah, that was basically it for this week's episode of Love in Paradise. There was not much else that went on. We didn't see Amber and Daniel in this episode. We'll probably see them next week. Yeah, so yeah, mostly Danielle and Yohan, not telling his friends he's getting married. Carlos and Valentine, they're just like still really, Carlos is still reserved about his sexuality. Ariana and Charlotte finally got to meet the baby, and Frankie and Abby, Frankie was about to come and then he canceled. So, and that was all that happened. There was nothing like really intense moments in this episode. So, viewers are probably going to say it was probably a boring episode, but I mean, if it's boring, it's boring. I mean, not much went down, but it's okay. It'll get better. I don't think of it as boring. It's just, sometimes boring is a good thing, I feel like. So if it's a boring episode, that means everything was going pretty well for the most part, and which it did. So, and that's what I want to see. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back tomorrow, Monday, for the regular 90 Day Fiancé recap. We're getting right into it. I'll be on Tuesday and Wednesday for Catfish and Married at First Sight. So be sure to stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys later.